There is a, this is amazing. Up in Massachusetts, students who refuse to affirm transgendered classmates to be punished. Now, what does it mean to affirm? To declare positively or firmly, maintain to be true. Second dictionary definition, the support or uphold the validity of, confirm. To declare and formally, but not under oath. What? Wait a minute. To affirm what? Including allowing them to use bathrooms of their choice or to play on a sports team that corresponds to the gender to which they identify.
So if you're a guy, but you identify with being a girl, we have to affirm and support and solemnly and formally support that. Even though, didn't we find that's, I mean...
You're right, but now this is transgender. So if you had to have gone through the surgery. So you're transgendered. This is not like, this is...
Do you, though?
Look up transgendered. I think you do. I mean, transgendered, I think. I mean, we're dealing with this in high school.
I just want to make sure when we put this on the air now that I am searching for the words transgender on my work computer, but because of the show. I just want people to know that that's happening because of the show. Just get that on.
Well, and we all know that you identify more with being a chick.
No. How many of us in the United States now, within the sound of my voice, not just us, how many of us have thought that? I've got to search for something, and you're like, oh, gee, I better not search for that.
Oh, quite a few times.
Quite a few times.
Jeffy?
Mm-hmm.
Not once.
I will give Pat the point for knowing his transgendered history.
Yeah.
It is identified with a gender other than the biological one. So
you don't have to have had the surgery. You have to be identifying with that. So I think
in other
there's
words,
a woman inside of me trying to get out. I start wearing women's clothing.
If you identify and I could
with
say,
that, yeah.
I identify myself as a woman,
mm-hmm.
and you have to accept me in the restroom or...
And an athletic team. Yeah, the athletic team, the locker room, I assume, the restrooms.
Sorry, but I'm sorry. If I'm sorry.
And you'll be punished if you don't as a student.
You're punished.
That's amazing.
You're punished unless you affirm their identity. It doesn't mean that I have to recognize their reality. My reality is it's a dude, man. We're changing in that he's a dude. He's a dude. I know, but he identifies as a woman. Well, that's cool. And I have no problem. I mean, really, even on the sports team, I have no problem. But if I'm a girl and he's a dude and we're showering together, I'm sorry. Yeah, he can go shower over there or whatever, but I'm a little uncomfortable. Does she have no right?
Because we all obviously want to be respectful to people, and if they do these things or they have they believe they're transgendered or whatever it is, that's fine, and we should be respectful of them.
I'm totally respectful.
But there's intimate, private moments that you would have. I mean, in a locker room, obviously, where you're
and I have no problem. For instance, if he says she's she. I don't want my son teasing. I don't want my son doing anything. I don't want my daughter saying anything. If he is on she is on the team, I will tell you that I'm like, okay. I do pause and say, okay, who is this guy or who is? I mean,
the Olympics don't allow it,
right?
Yeah.
And I do question. I'm sitting there, where are the lines here? What is the if you went and had the surgery, okay, well then you're committed. You're committed to,
yes.
that. You're not going
that is
back.
a commitment. Yes,
that's a commitment, a lifetime commitment. And so that's a different thing. But if I'm just identifying as a girl, I'm sorry. I have a little problem with that. They want to go. I'm going to treat you with respect to everything else. But if my daughter says, "Dad, I don't want," I'd feel very uncomfortable. Does my daughter not have any right? And not because she's a bigot or a hater or anything else. It's an intimate moment for her.
Yeah. Well, your children have been well prepared to accept that anyway because they've seen you cry at Jack in the Box commercials for years now. So they understand your womanhood coming through.
A guy growing,
That's not a problem for them.
Growing boobs, they're like,
they've
seen that.
They've been there, done that.
You don't need hormones for that. You need Twinkies.
My dad had bigger breasts when he died. My dad had bigger breasts than my mom did. It was weird. They got it.
So they're fine.
They're fine.
But you're running into this could be a real problem with a guy who is a guy physiologically in a locker room with a bunch of girls, and athletically there's a difference as well. There just is.
Yeah, athletically.
We're not the same.
Right. Athletically, the reason why we don't let guys and girls play together is because athletically we're built differently.
Yeah.
You go ahead and play. Put a girl on a football team.
And occasionally, we saw the one little girl who was really good. Remember,
yes.
the running
But
back?
you're getting tackled?
Well,
you want your daughter
little
playing
girl
on
is-
even a high school team getting tackled by a bunch of guys.
It'll change when that little girl grows up. Things will change.
Absolutely. And remember, there was the track athlete who was in the Olympics, and they just suspected her of actually being a dude. And there was a big controversy over it. And she had to come out and did not.
That's right.
I swear I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, when it comes to
That's
athletic
offensive.
competition,
That's offensive. Can you imagine
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine if you
Well, she
looked
ran
enough
so
like
fast. Wasn't it the Chinese runner? She was a sprinter or something, and she was turning in men's times, and so they're like, what's going on here? And yeah, I remember this last Olympics.
I mean, do the Olympics check? They can take
I
your blood. Do they drop the drawers?
I'm not sure, but I think there was.
They did check, Jeffy?
Yeah, I
That
think
was part of the deal.
Yeah, they did.
A blood test, everything.
I mean, you don't need a
drop
blood
naked,
test. You just
everything.
have them,
That's why that was the big controversy.
show your body part
Yeah,
there.
show your body parts there, and that would be probably good enough.
Proof enough, I would
I
think.
don't think, well, okay, I've seen it. Now I need a blood test as well. Then
I
again,
guess you can check for the right amount of estrogen too, as opposed to testosterone.
think about this. We can now digitally 3D print hearts. We're starting on now printing organs. We've just digitally printed a what do you call the cell? The stem cell.
Yeah.
We've digitally printed a stem cell. So we could digitally print somebody an organ. Now you're not going to be able to tell. Now you'll get the parts. Now you'll have the parts. I mean, we're living in a weird world, man, where you won't know what's what anymore. What's real, what's not, what's been grown in a petri dish. I need an arm. Just grow a new arm. I mean, it's a really remarkable thing, but it's also a little weird.
Yeah, and from a larger sense, like you have this idea that you have people coming in and in this race to make sure everyone feels good about themselves, which is generally has good intentions behind it. We forget in some. I think with the average person, I think that's very true.
I think the average person, but I'm not sure that
Yeah.
the people who are designing it have good intent.
Yeah, I think we all know. Yeah,
We're all doing it because nobody wants to hurt any feelings. Look, if there's a guy who is just all mixed up inside and he's like, I am a girl, and can you imagine how mixed up you'd feel? And everybody making fun of you and everything else. Nobody wants to hurt that guy or whatever. They don't want it. Nobody wants to do that. And any group of kids that would corner him and start making him feel bad, they're little monsters. They're little monsters. That's the way the average person feels. However, that's different than everybody gets a trophy because we don't want to make them feel bad. Anybody who is, these are the experts in psychology and psychiatry. They're the experts in,